right, so we're here with Jay and Kazazi. Jay, why don't you tell us a little bit about Kazazi to start with?
Well, Kazazi is a very special horse. She is the first horse that Cincy and I bred ourselves that has raced. That's how we're doing it now. We're not buying horses, we're breeding our own.
Right,
She
right.
is by champion Breeders' Cup sprinter, Mitoli. And she is 2 years old, about to turn 3. And today she had her final breeze, half a mile from the starting gate in preparation for a race next weekend. Not sure exactly what day that will be because the weather may
Right.
back things up.
Scheduled for the 28th, but who knows when it'll
Yeah, it
happen.
might be a day later.
Yeah.
We'll see. But no, she's doing great.
She's been very successful so far in her 2-year-old
she's
campaign.
had 4 starts. She's got a second and 2/3 and 4 starts.
So she's sitting on a win is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, she's been breezing really, really well.
So I don't want to miss the opportunity of picking your brain and getting some of your wisdom. Jay's nickname is the Professor, and so we want to tap into some of that. We've been talking a lot about the road to the Derby and the horses that will be there, and so handicapping and just some different insights. So you oftentimes share stuff with me about, hey, did you know, or hey, how many? Give me some of those.
Okay, so I think as a bettor, I'm not even going to say handicapper, as a bettor, as someone who's going to bet on the Kentucky Derby.
That's probably a more accurate thing, referring to bettors and handicappers.
Most people are bettors, not handicappers.
Yeah, I agree.
But even the handicappers, I think, fail to consider some very obvious facts.
Facts, biases.
No
facts. Okay.
Right? Looking back at the history of the Kentucky Derby, talk a little bit about breeding, the families, the breeding of these horses that are going to be in the Kentucky Derby. One of the most amazing facts is that since Seattle Slew won the Kentucky Derby in 1977, which is, do the math.
Yeah,
like
almost 50 years. 48 right? years, yeah.
Yeah, 49 for 20.
49, okay. I was going to 26, yeah.
49 years. Okay, in the last 49 years, how many stallions after Seattle Slew? He sired Swale, who won the Derby. Okay. Since Seattle Slew, how many Kentucky Derby winners sired a Kentucky Derby winner?
In 49 years? I don't know.
One.
Who's that one?
Unbridled sired Grindstone.
Unbridled. All right. Interesting. So
when you're looking at horses in the Kentucky Derby and their sire was a Kentucky Derby winner, you gotta think twice, right?
Yeah. And here's what drives me nuts is your horse wins the Kentucky Derby. I know that horse as a casual fan knows those horses, but they pull them out of racing so they can go become stallions, and they're not even pulling them out.
There's very few. Well, there's virtually none that make top class stallions. One exception coming up is Nyquist.
Yeah,
he's doing very well. He's a top class stallion, and he is the exception to the rule. Now, here's another interesting fact. The horses that are bought as 2-year-olds in training, which we talked about earlier, right? They watch them breeze 1/8 of a mile, and they'll pay millions for these horses that are really fast. In the last 16 years, how many horses bought out of the 2-year-old in training sale won the Kentucky Derby?
As a 2-year-old, you probably have more information on a 2-year-old. You think you'd be far better. I don't know how many. Two.
And the interesting thing is, one was Nyquist.
Nyquist again, like that.
And the other was I'll Have Another. Now, what did they have in common? They were both trained by Doug O'Neill, and they were both purchased out of the sale by Doug's brother, Dennis.
Dennis, yeah.
So the same guy bought the only two horses in this last 16 years who came out of the 2-year-old sale and won the Derby.
Okay.
Okay. So now you're looking to bet, and you check the auction history on these horses. You got to think twice.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk $1 million babies.
Okay. Certainly, if I spend a lot of money, I'm going to win the Derby, right? So, in fact, they don't have millions of dollars to spend.
Yeah.
That's where you're going, aren't you?
Okay. Last year we had Barnes, $3.2 million yearling purchase. This year we've got, what's that horse's name? Brant, $3 million horse, and many other $1 million plus purchases. In the entire history of the Kentucky Derby, how many $1 million or more purchases won the Kentucky Derby?
Got to be more than two, because
Nope.
two. Oh my goodness,
2.
only 2.
The last one to do it was Fusaichi Pegasus. He sold for $4 million.
Yeah.
And that was back in the 90s.
Yeah. Wow. And who's the other one? Is it
I
Nyquist?
can't even. No. It was some horse. I can't remember his name.
Right.
But it goes back a ways.
Wow.
But
so in the 21st century, you can probably say there hasn't been $1 million purchase that has won the Derby.
No.
Interesting.
So I'm here. How many Kentucky Derby winners were produced by champion race mares who became champion brood mares?
I don't know.
Virtually none.
Wow.
I mean, you look at mares like Zenyatta, nothing. Beholder, she had Tamara, who was the stakes winner, but very short career, had physical issues. That was it. Songbird. No, I mean, you can just go right on down the line. Now, the further back you go in time, the better those good mares produced. So why that is, I couldn't tell you.
So when you're looking for, you have your own brood mares, but if you were, you just purchased one recently. So what is it you're looking for as a trainer?
You want to talk about that one? That's a
yeah.
Okay, this is really we purchased a filly, 3-year-old, about to turn 4. She was a winner of maiden special weight, so that's top level non-winners of a race, right? So she won one of those. That was her only win. She had, I don't know, half a dozen starts and didn't, I think maybe 8 starts, and did poorly, but she did win. But the reason we purchased this mare, and good God, we paid a lot of money for her, but her mother is a stakes placed, right? So high level performer, but not top level.
Okay.
Okay. Stakes placed mare who is a full sister, same sire, same dam as the dam of Golden Pal, 2-time Breeders' Cup winner. Now, Golden Pal's dam won over 800,000. So for her to produce a Breeders' Cup champion, very, very unusual. All right. So the 3-year-old filly we bought is a full sister to the dam of Golden Pal, and her sire is Uncle Mo. Well, Uncle Mo is the sire of Golden Pal, so it's virtually an identical pedigree. But the most important part of this pedigree, so you have Lady Shipman, who is the dam of Golden Pal, and you have just something to talk about, the dam of our filly, Mo Hype, right? Their direct female line, so grandmother, all
Yeah.
the way down to 1926.
Whoa.
And a mare was foaled in France and imported to the United States. A daughter of Teddy, who's a French stallion who was also imported to the U.S. and became one of the great stallions. Uh, I mean, he's still in every pedigree multiple times. Doesn't get enough credit. But the mare I'm talking about, who was foaled in 2026, is La Troyenne, and her daughters and their daughters and their daughters and their daughters to the present time have a highly unusually successful progeny on the racetrack.
Okay.
They're probably the strongest direct female line in all of American breeding. So that was the main reason I was looking at this filly.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember you took the trip to Kentucky for that
That
goal in
one
mind,
horse, and good
you,
God, it cost us.
yeah, well, you came back with the horse as
And
part of your.
she's the one that's booked to Constitution, a number 5 ranked stallion in North America. So it's going to be
Should be great. Should be really good.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Now, okay, so that's the mare side, or the brood mare side. When you're talking about stallions, who have been the successful ones?
Okay,
What are you looking for there?
That's a tough question now. So in the last 25 years, right?
Yeah.
So in the 2000s, I think there's only one stallion who has sired more than one Derby winner, and that's Into Mischief, and he has 3.
That's a good one.
Mandaloon was by DQ, but he's also the sire of Sovereignty, and is also the sire of Authentic. So these are really good horses. Will they make good stallions? I don't know. Authentic, I like him.
Yeah.
But he's not selling well, and da. But anyway, so there's no consistency. The top stallions in the country, if you look at the last like 10 years, it's a different stallion every year.
Yeah.
So, what do you conclude from that?
Yeah. So
and statistically, okay, you've got Into Mischief, who sired 3 Kentucky Derby winners.
Yeah.
What do you think the odds are that he'll sire a 4th?
Right. Yeah. So it's like, do you go with him because he's had success, or do you like, oh, he can't do 4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
so,
what do you do? I hope someone, comments below.
Yeah.
With an answer, because I don't know.
Yeah. What do? Do you go with that trend, or do you go away from it? And so, is there any races? Like, I know you like the Met Mile, and is there any races?
Here's another amazing statistic. In the last, I want to say like 10 years, or certainly the last 5 years, the key prep races, points races for the Kentucky Derby, with 100 points going to the winner, are the last one before the Derby. Now, these races are intentionally spaced 4 weeks apart, because that's what the trainers like to have between races for their horses. So every 4 weeks, the first weekend of every month, you've got a points race. The last one is going to be the first weekend of April, because the Derby's the first weekend of May, right?
Right.
So those 100-point races, Florida Derby, Arkansas Derby, Santa Anita Derby, Bluegrass Stakes, Wood Memorial, those are the
legendary races.
Yeah.
Those are
okay.
Yeah.
How many winners of those 5 races in the last 5 years have won the Kentucky Derby?
Well, again, it's got to be a
That
lot because
that would
those,
be 25 horses.
yeah, those are the big races. Those would be the important races that have to be a lot.
Zero. Goose egg.
Yeah, and going in, I'm
And
sure
they're
those
going
are
to be
the favorites.
favorites going
Yeah,
in.
yeah,
So who won? Last year, Sovereignty finished second, I think, in the Florida Derby.
right.
It's those horses that are right there. I remember I was at the Bluegrass Stakes when Street Sense
Hmm.
ran second. And at that time it was a synthetic track which was a little slower than
Oh,
the
really?
dirt, right? And man, on the last turn he circled that field, came up and finished an easy second, just cruised. And I thought, man, what a perfect setup for the Derby. And sure enough, he won the Derby.
So it's not
And
that
sure enough,
horses.
I didn't bet it. But
Ah, but it's not that the horses don't do. They should do well in those races, but it's not always. It's never the winner. That
I,
yeah.
I don't know how to explain it. But they're, of course, they're the favorites,
Yes. Yeah.
and they don't win.
Would there be a race that again? I mentioned the Met Mile because you and I have talked. And I've heard you say Met Mile is a good one.
Historically, the Florida Derby has something like, in modern times, has like 5 Derby winners. That's considerably more than any of the others.
Mm.
So you know, but still, recently, no. I think it's the horses that run well but aren't all out. They haven't been wrung out to win
Yeah.
that prep race, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
have a solid answer for that.
yeah. Sovereignty didn't need to win that last week. He just
They
needed
got
to.
50 points.
Yeah.
That'll get
That'll
you in
do
the
you.
race.
Yeah. So very very strategic, very smart move to
I'm sure they were trying to win it.
Sure, but yeah, none of those level of horses.
Yeah,
They're always
trying to win
always
it,
trying
yeah.
to win, but they didn't have to win it. So
But again, as a bettor, and you're looking at all these things that all the media and everybody's talking about. Oh, he won the Florida Derby. Oh, he won the Arkansas Derby. Oh, he's by such and such. They don't pan out. The stallions, the best stallions, with the exception of Nyquist, the best stallions are horses that won at a mile, mile and an eighth.
so that
Into
speed,
Mischief,
yeah,
mile
into Mischief.
and an eighth.
Yeah.
Who else? Curling. Not This Time. All these great stallions. If you look at the ones who sired Derby winners, they were not mile and a quarter horses. And these horses that are getting beat. Life is Good. I love this horse. You should see him now as a mature stallion. Oh, he's spectacular, and he's the son of Into Mischief. And like I said, Bob Baffert, he thought this was his Derby winner and he won the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile and did not win the Kentucky Derby. So these horses are, I think, one possible explanation for this is that these buyers, these trainers and their representatives, the owners' representatives who go to the sale and buy these horses, they are buying horses that are too fast, too heavy, too big, heavy, fast. They're, physiologically speaking, a mile race is, as far as the horse's physiology, it's a sprint. They're in sprinting mode for close to 2 minutes. Kentucky Derbies, that race is going to run in 2 minutes and change, 2:01, 2:02, 2:04. So it's definitely beyond that leap a horse has to make from a sprint to a route. So these stallions are not routers. You're not seeing the Belmont Stakes winner siring Kentucky Derby horses.
Yeah.
and Belmont Stakes being a half a mile.
Yeah.
You're not seeing Derby horses sire Derby winners, and
Interesting.
that's a mile and a quarter winner. You're seeing the mile and an eighth
Yeah.
horses there. Now, where's that stamina coming from?
I would have to guess the dam, right? No, yeah.
Yet, name a mile and a quarter race on the dirt for mares, fillies and mares.
Yeah.
There aren't any.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're looking at a mile and an eighth, and what does that tell you?
Yeah.
But I will say this, and this is pure science and it's an absolute fact. Mitochondrial DNA.
Easy for you to say.
Mitochondrial DNA comes only from the dam.
Interesting.
And so the mother has it, the grandmother, it's all all the same, all the way back in that direct female line. Like we were saying with La Troyenne. So is that what we're looking at there? The mitochondrial DNA that's being transferred from daughter to daughter to daughter to daughter.
And what does that do for a horse? What does that?
It's closely associated with the way energy is processed and stamina.
Okay, that would explain that. Now, how do you?
It's never that simple.
Yeah, how do you? Yeah, how do you foretell that? How do you know that? How do you see that? Interesting. Another question: as a trainer, you have a horse that you think might be a Derby contender. Would you train it? Would you have different strategies, like aiming towards the Derby as opposed to trying to just worry about its career?
Well, I've never run a horse in the Derby, but they're all over the place here.
One there, one there,
they're all over the place. So I see them every day. These horses that are aiming for the Kentucky Derby.
So a lot of winners around here, a lot of Derby.
A lot of horses going to the Derby. Everybody. And when it comes to the specifics of workouts, everybody's got their own preferences. You'll notice Baffert will work horses 6 furlongs. Most of the other guys don't work them past 5 furlongs. Generally, Richard Mandel is another one that'll work them longer distances. But those are kind of neither here nor there. I think the more important thing is the timing of rest periods between races. Which races you're aiming for to get that horse to the Derby. It was back in the day, back in the 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s. They race 2-year-olds a lot earlier than they do now. They might run a horse at 3 furlongs in like March, February. And then they'll race 4 furlongs, and then 5 furlongs, and then 6, and then 7, and then 8, and work their way up distance-wise. Now, you don't have. Well, first of all, you won't have those short races early. They won't. 2-year-olds won't race until May, and they'll start out at 4.5 furlongs. And they'll only have a couple of races at that distance. We'll go to 5. But so you're looking at like a 6 or 6.5 furlong maiden race. A lot of guys might start out at a mile, and then they'll go to like Baffert does really well historically with the 7 furlong races. What is it? The Sham? Is it the Sham 7 furlongs? And then you have the San Vicente so, and then to the mile, and a mile and a 16th for like the have the Flamingo anymore. They used to be at Hialeah, the Fountain of Youth.
Fountain of Youth
down at Gulfstream. I think the Louisiana Derby's a mile and a 16th. Then they'll go to a mile and an 1/8. Those last prep races that we talked about earlier, they'll be a mile and an 1/8, and then it's anybody's guess, if they're going to hold up.
Yeah.
And what people don't, bettors, not not day in, day out working horsemen, but betters, don't realize that there's that physiological leap from 1.125 to 1.25 miles.
Okay.
So you were asking about, the method of training, and
Yeah.
I think it's really more about not so much the breezes and the workouts. I think it's more about the races and how they stack up.
Okay, so the Breeders' Cup Juvenile winners of that, they generally, well, they become
Generally,
the favorite. Yeah.
How many Breeders' Cup Juvenile winners in the history of the Breeders' Cup have won the Kentucky Derby?
How many? 2.
You know who they were?
Well, I'm gonna guess Nyquist because Nyquist is the answer.
He is.
Okay.
He is one of them.
All right. I knew I'd get it right if I said Nyquist enough.
And the other one was Street Sense.
Oh. Okay.
And that's it. 2.
But they're the favorites coming out. So
And that's out of 40 some horses.
Yeah. Do you think it's because of they matured early and they peaked early? Is there something
Well,
like Ted
there's a
Nehf
lot of-
hasn't raced since then?
yeah,
They're
but-
holding them back. Is that
But a lot of those good horses just haven't matured to that point until after Breeders' Cup.
Yeah.
So it may not be a question of the Breeders' Cup winner maturing early. It's better horses maturing late.
Okay. So it's not so much focused on the horse that won the Juvies, more hit the competition, the other ones to
year
catch
after
up.
year, that's the favorite early on.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So well, we got like right now, Ted Nehf is the favorite.
He's by Into Mischief, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So what are
we'll
the
see.
odds he'll be the 4th?
Yeah.
I mean, what has he got going against him statistically? He's a Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner. He's by Into Mischief, who's already sired 3.
Yeah.
Can he sire 4? I mean, what did he sell at auction?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'd have to look that up.
So it'd be interesting to look at all of those categories and see
See where he matches up on that. But yeah, good stuff. So all right, well, hey, we'll wrap it up here.
Yeah.
We'll bug you some more moving forward. You okay with us
You bet,
having
you bet, sure.
All right, thank you, sir.
Okay. Take it easy.